Good day, Internet.
What the heck, Internet?
What's going on,
Good
Internet?
day, Internet.
What in the heck are who, Internet?
Where you
Hello,
been all my
Internet.
life, Internet?
Hello. We missed you, Internet.
Yeah. We're
Shannon,
not
you
trying to
didn't-
be too much or anything, Internet, but we really like you.
We really,
We love
Want to
you.
go steady, Internet?
I would swipe. Which way do you swipe?
Yeah, I don't
You
right.
swipe,
No,
you
we don't
swipe
know.
right when you like somebody.
Okay, I would
You
swipe,
swipe
right.
yeah. I would
I don't
swipe
know.
right on you.
Oh,
And when
I'd
I say
swipe
you,
right
it's
on
the
all of
collective
you.
you, all of you.
All of you.
We're swiping right.
You know,
all
that's
y'all.
funny. Have you? I was never asked to go steady, but do you remember that? Like, oh, we're going steady.
So it's so funny that you mentioned that, Len, because when when kids started to like each other, this is like pre-puberty, right? Well, you just kind of start liking somebody, that sort of
Sixth
thing.
or seventh grade.
We
yeah.
called it going together.
I was
So,
going to
yeah.
say the same thing. We go together. Yeah.
We go together.
Are you going with Michelle? Yeah.
going
Yeah.
with-
And
Yeah.
everyone,
Go
it's
with
like
her.
it's like,
remember
where are
that.
you going? Nowhere. We can't drive.
So 80s.
We're just going together.
Are they
Yeah.
going? Are they going? Yeah.
I heard Len ask Sarah to go with him.
Wow.
Is that true?
That's not
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, it was true for like 2 days, and then he liked Julie better.
Oh my gosh! You just put me back into fifth
Drama.
grade. I was like, so
Yeah.
funny.
Oh, going together back in the days of passing notes. It's like you couldn't pass the note to who you wanted to go with directly. You had to have an intermediary.
Yeah,
So you
you
had
have
to
to go
go
through
through. Had to be
somebody.
one of your
Yes,
boys,
no.
one of your girls had to actually
Yeah.
be the deliverer of the note. So that
There had to
was
be
at
like a
least-
Cyrano de Bergerac or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, yeah.
I remembered the first like high school dance where it's like Sadie Hawkins. We called it something different, but it's where the girl asked the guy. That's like the rule, of the not prom, but a different dance. And I was like, I'm not asking him unless I know for sure he's saying yes. And so I had to go through like 3 of his guy friends.
Oh my
and
gosh.
all of them were like, he's gonna say yes. And I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure?
So
I
much
can't handle
drama.
rejection.
Wow, there's a lot of drama.
He said yes, and we went. But yeah.
Yeah, I tried.
yeah,
I tried to stay away from the drama. Like
I mean, same.
I didn't have that problem. I didn't have
Some people didn't. Some people lived on the drama.
So we had the note with the check boxes, and it would be like 3 names.
Yes, no, or maybe.
2 of the names you
Yeah.
knew that the person was not interested in at all. So it's like, here's three people. Are any of these folks would you go to the dance with? So like I said, you had to have an air of plausible deniability that it was you that was wanting to ask. But it's like 3 names, my name's in the middle, and the other 2 names there was no way.
One is the
that they
name
were
of a
gonna say yes to.
2-year-old. The other one got expelled. And then you.
wow.
Oh,
I
God.
never saw those notes. I never got those. Or
I never got it
Shannon,
either.
was your high school as chaotic as ours?
Oh, mine was so chaotic. I actually think I still have some of those notes where I
Do
got
you
to
really?
circle either yes, no, or maybe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I still have some of them because
That's
I would keep
awesome.
it and be like, haha, I got a note.
yeah.
And I would never answer it.
wow.
I would just
File it away.
I
be like,
I
this
wrote
is
a-
I
blackmail.
got a ping, and I refuse to
Wow.
answer, leaving you unread.
Yeah. You're,
Mean to those poor high
Oh
school
my
boys.
gosh. I had a shoebox
your
full of
UDP
notes.
port was closed.
Those
Oh
poor
my
boys.
gosh.
I feel so bad for them now.
It's high school. What are you going to do?
Len had a shoebox full of fun notes.
Yeah, I wrote a lot of notes to a lot of like girlfriends. They weren't like girlfriends, but that was the thing. I was like, oh hey, here's a note. You pass a note in the hallway, and if I were to look at those now, I know they don't exist anymore. I bet they were just the dumbest notes ever. They were just like, I'm in
Me and my
class.
bestie have a notebook, or we had a notebook, and we would write on each page, like in the middle of classes.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
still
My
have
best friend
it.
and I had that too. We called it the quote book.
Yes.
And it wasn't
so
all
cool.
quotes, but it was just like
Yeah.
just stuff.
Just write stuff to each
just
other.
stuff. Like
Mine
even
was all,
like
like-
something dumb a teacher said, we'd be like, "That's funny." Put it in the quote book.
Yeah. Mine
You
was
know, there
all
was,
like synopsis of Sailor Moon episodes that were coming out every day after school because my life was so exciting.
In my Spanish class, I remember there was a desk in the front that it was like an ongoing notes from somebody. And I think I may have started it. I may have said, "Hey, what's up?" And then you'd come back the next day and there'd be like 4 different things. Good, how are you? But you didn't know who was writing them.
Were they
And then
post-it notes or was this before post-it
No, it's like
notes?
etched into the desk.
It was etched into the desk.
Into the
Like,
desk. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
you're
gotcha.
writing
Oh yeah,
with a
we
pen
did that
on
too,
it.
and the teachers
yeah.
were always so mad at us that there were so many of them.
Yeah, by like a week later, the entire side of the desk was just covered in notes that just got worse and worse. Actually, when you think about it, it's sort of like early internet. You know, like someone's
basically Twitter. Yeah.
Exactly it, right?
The app replies got a little sideways.
Yeah,
Yes, they
it just
did.
descended into madness. We should have known. Why didn't we look at the desk?
And then
We
one
would've
day
known.
the desk was gone. It was like, where's the
it was
desk?
Elon Musk bought it.
Yeah, we used to get I don't think anybody actually got fined because it would have been your parents anyway, but we used to be, we were told if you desecrate any of these books, you're going to get fined. But we all would do it and be like, Sarah was here.
Oh man, I remember.
Like, what are you going to fine me?
Maybe I improved the book.
Yeah, the book is better.
I
Now you know
remember
was
my
there.
my junior year yearbook was so desecrated. Like I'd go, "Hey, can you sign it?" And then people would like draw over people they didn't like and stuff.
Yeah.
And it got really sort of very derisive. And I have it here somewhere. I don't know. I have, but it was pretty bad. And
My yearbooks are in a closet right behind me in the studio, and haven't looked at them in a long time. But
look at that. Tom
there's all
pulls
sorts
out.
of stuff going on in those yearbooks.
We should do that.
Of course,
We should
Tom
take out
has
our
his
yearbooks
at
and
the
share
ready.
them.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yes, that's what mine looked like.
Just covered
Look
with
how
stuff.
popular you were, Tom.
Yeah.
So many
How
friends.
Wow.
How many
I mean-
KITs and RMAs did you get?
Let's see.
Can we do a show and tell?
Have a
We'll
great
pull out our yearbooks and do a
summer.
show and tell.
RMA.
XYZ,
the worst one.
love
The worst
ya,
one, Sarah,
love
was-
ya. A lot of love
Yeah.
ya. Love ya.
Love ya with a whole heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the one I liked, I had this one. I had to was I envy you for you are a QT.
Wow.
Oh,
You are
I
a
remember
QT.
that. I remember that.
Yeah,
Yep.
I wasn't that popular. I didn't get any
Nah.
of those.
I didn't
Just
get
lots
any of
love
those.
yas.
I got a lot of
Oh, this one's called Friends.
Oh, the name of the book.
No, it's just Friends, Judy.
Oh,
That's all she said?
No, she wrote, to a great drummer, you were tough to stick with band even though no one else did. Good luck in the future, Friends, Judy.
Oh, that's
Friends.
cute.
Yeah.
That is kind of cute, actually.
Judy
I
is now
should
like
find
an
it.
Judy was like,
executive
you know
at
what? We're
Columbia
just going to
Records.
keep this, top level. You were a great drummer, Tom.
now I want to grab mine. I have mine in the closet over
I didn't
there.
know you played the drums. Did I?
Oh man.
This one is, I never in my wildest dreams would have seen you as a drummer. That's nice.
I didn't know you were a drummer, Tom.
That's
Yeah,
what
in
I'm
high-
saying. I'm
the
like,
marching
is this
band.
something that we all knew and I just forgot about?
1 minute.
Yes.
Never
Hold on.
knew this.
Hold on. I'm just. I'll be right back.
Can you see-
I'll be back.
P.S. If you need help, don't call me.
I'm gonna grab. I know
There
we
you
got a
go.
minute. I'm gonna go grab mine real quick.
Oh, gee.
Everybody's getting there. Mine's like buried in a trunk, so I
Mine,
can't.
mine is
buy-
in the
I can't find
in
it
the
right now.
garage.
I'll
Yeah,
bring it out
if-
for my next episode.
If mine still exists, it's
Oh wow!
in the attic at my parents'.
My mom
30
delivered
seconds.
mine a few years ago. I definitely still have
Here's
it.
mine.
Ooh, that's a
Take-
nice one. Yeah, that's very 80s. It looks very
Take
similar
Flight.
to the
Oh,
style.
wow.
1988.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
8. Mine
I was on the
92.
yearbook committee one year. We took it very seriously.
There's mine.
Yeah, no,
all
that's
all
it.
that
That's
stuff
what it-
was like, that was it was all by committee. Like, what's it gonna look like?
Yeah, I was the editor of my senior yearbook.
Oh wow.
We did not take it
Shocker.
You know,
Have a good show,
we'll talk about
everybody.
yearbooks later.
Good day, Internet. This is DTNS Live for Thursday, September 11th, 2025. From Studio Animal House, I'm Sarah Lane.
In Studio 7 in Los Angeles, I'm Tom Merritt.
From Columbus, Ohio, I'm Robb Dunewood.
From Studio Colorado, I'm Shannon Morse.
Drawing the top tech stories from Cleveland, I'm Len Peralta.
And I'm the show's producer, Roger Chang.
DTNS Live is made possible by you. We love our patrons. Big thanks to every single one of them. We try to thank different ones at the top tier every week, including Jim Hart, Mike Akins, and Norm Fazekas.
Yay! Love our patrons. And welcome one and all to DTNS Live, the show where we discuss the tech news to help us all go through it together and understand it a little bit better as a result. Shannon Morse, I know you just got back from some big travel. How are you doing?
Hey, luckily I'm over the jet lag and so excited to be back. I missed my fur babies and I missed y'all.
Oh, we missed you too.
Are we considered your fur?
No, she said
No?
and.
Good. Okay, just
and
checking.
you as
Making
well.
sure, yeah.
I mean, we're all sort of fur
unless you-
babies
It's the
in
beard,
a way.
you know.
It's fine. I don't
Maybe.
I don't judge,
I don't know.
Tom. I
Rob,
don't judge.
Rob and I have a lot of fur on the face. That's why.
I hear Roger being like, "Yeah, I don't know. We don't. No, we're not. fur
We're not going there.
Robb Dunewood, how are you today?
I'm doing good. It's a good week this week. Thus far, we still got a day to go, but yeah, I actually went to the Ohio State game this past weekend, so got to see
fun.
Grambling State University's. I'm not going to say the football team because that was like a debacle. Well, not really, but it was kind of what we expected. But the marching band,
Oh, yeah.
Grambling's marching band is they're really good. They're really good.
That's
So that was a good time.
That sounds fun. And Len,
Yeah.
since we've seen you just a week ago now,
Yes.
what have you been up to?
Oh, well, I am getting ready to fly out for a quick trip to Dallas-Fort Worth tomorrow. So I'll be there this weekend. Probably won't run into anybody because I'm just in and out real quick doing a job. And then I'm back home. And that
Is it a
sounded
bank
really...
heist?
Yes, that sounded very...
Yeah, I know it does sound very
Yeah.
vague. Yeah, I'm only
I'm
in
doing
Fort
it-
Worth for 24 hours.
Nobody will see me. Just in and
Nobody
out,
see me. I'm
real
in and out
quick.
like a shadow.
Then we're going to keep our fingers crossed for you that you can actually get there and get back
right.
without any issues, because the last 3 times I've been to Dallas, I've stayed overnight when I wasn't expecting to.
I hope
Oh,
that's not the
no.
case. But even if I did, my daughter's out there, so I can spend some more time with my daughter.
Oh,
that's
see?
awesome.
Win-win. Very
Works
nice.
out.
Well, everyone, if you are watching or listening live, you can name this episode. We do it every week. Head on over to dtns.showbot.tv. You can open it up now. We will be talking about all sorts of stuff throughout the show, and that's where you can submit title suggestions and vote on others. It's a lot of fun. We'll check back in on the votes at the end of the show. All right, let's kick it off with a few stories that caught our eye today.
Oracle said in its earnings report that it signed 4 multi-billion-dollar contracts with 3 different customers. And so the Wall Street Journal was like, let's find out who those are. Turns out OpenAI is one of those multi-billion-dollar contracts. In fact, it might be the majority of Oracle's future revenue. Reportedly, it's a deal for $300 billion that OpenAI will pay to Oracle over 5 years, starting in 2027. All of this led to an Oracle stock surge that briefly yesterday made CEO Larry Ellison worth more than Elon Musk before the stock fell back a bit from its peak.
It was very brief too. It was like
Yeah, it was
minutes.
like a roller coaster. You know,
Yeah,
it was like
15 minutes. He was number one.
Still a win. Still a win. For once, Larry Ellison has a win.
finally, that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's such a poor
So
soul.
proud of him.
Yeah, the second richest person in the planet. Yeah.
It was a good try,
You know,
Larry.
When,
Good
when you
job.
get to that upper echelon, I think first and second actually does matter to a lot
Yeah.
of people.
Wasn't there something about Larry Ellison and Paul Allen like extending each other's yachts or extending their own yachts because the other's yacht was longer? And so then
Yes, there
yeah.
was.
Yeah, I thought that was a
So yeah, that's
Like,
what we're
why
talking
is there like
about
a
here.
tennis pole on the front of that boat?
yeah.
Because they wanted
Do you
to
think
be
Larry's gonna? Do you think Larry's gonna use this like next time he's out for whiskey with his friends or something and be like, there was a time for
Yeah.
4 minutes that I was
on the
Worth more.
planet. The richest
on the
person.
planet.
I mean, it
The
is a
richest
flex.
person.
And I'll be back. I'll be there again.
Yeah. if I have anything to say about it. All right. The UK's Information Commissioner's Office warned that students are increasingly hacking their school's IT systems for fun. Can you imagine a student doing something like this?
No.
Or as dares, calling it a growing insider threat. The ICO says it's investigated 215 education sector breaches. So this isn't just one or two cases. This is something that seems to be a bit of a trend with at least some students, with 57% traced to minors. Cases include breaking into databases affecting thousands of students and staff.
Shannon is just laughing.
Shannon's just laughing. I knew you would like this one.
I was doing this stuff in the 80s.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I can, without question, say that this has been going on since I was in high school. I might have hacked a printer once. Oh, no. Like, kids, we do that. I mean, a lot of IT systems for schools are not the most conventionally secure networks in the world, and they are really fun to hack on, especially if you're taking classes on computers and you're just bored out of your mind. You finished your work for the day in your class and you're just sitting there in front of a computer. Like, what else are you gonna
Shannon's
do?
like, book report done, printer, let's hack.
Let's hack it. Yes, it's super fun too.
And the response is probably in a lot of cases, I don't know this, but probably in a lot of cases, to lock down access from students, which is exactly,
Right.
in my opinion, the wrong thing to do. What you want to do is enlist students and give them more access to combat the other students from hacking in. And then you're going to use the most talented people to be able to secure your network.
What you should do is find those students that are doing the hacking and
Exactly.
say, you're really good at this.
Yeah,
Let me
can you-
recommend a class
Can
where
you help
can
me
put
patch
this into use.
that exploit that you took advantage of on the printer?
Yeah, how old are you? Can we hire you?
Definitely.
Can we hire you?
So
you don't even-
that
it's just make it a
actually
class
happened to
project.
me
You don't have to pay
when I
them.
was in 8th grade. So I actually in 8th grade. Well, let me say it like this: I will not confirm nor deny that I may have done some stuff to our Mac lab, or actually it wasn't Mac. It was like the Apple IIe lab. I think when I was in like the 8th or 9th grade. And once they figured out what it was, my grandmother had to come, down to the school, and
Oh boy.
and it was like they said, okay, so we're not going to allow you to be in trouble. We just want you to show us how to make this so that no one else can do this thing.
That's
And
smart.
you now work here,
Uh-huh.
before school starts, and and at lunch.
The
for,
school
like, the
gave
next
you a
month.
bounty.
It was a fun detention. We'll call it that.
Tension.
Fun tension.
You still have to do this on Saturday, but everyone's helped.
Instead of getting in bigger trouble, you're going to help us fix it, and then we'll call it even. That tracks. I like that. That makes sense to me.
So, folks, I do have a bit of bad news, particularly for the Android users. The beloved Android customization tool Nova Launcher is ceasing operations, much to the dismay of its loyal user base. I am one of them, so I'm not very happy about this. Kevin Barry, the original founder and developer of Nova Launcher, recently announced his departure from Branch, the analytics firm that acquired Nova Launcher in 2022, effectively ending his involvement with the project. Barry had been working to release Nova as open source, aligning with Branch's previous commitment to transfer the code to the community upon his exit, but he was ultimately instructed to halt the open source initiative. So myself, and I would imagine a heck of a lot of Android users, are not very happy about this.
Yeah,
that's
because there
very
was something in the
disappointing.
contract when they acquired him that if he were to ever leave, they would open source the code, right? And that's why he was like, yeah, I'm leaving, so I'm going to follow the terms of the contract you agreed to.
I don't know this for a fact, but having seen these type of contracts before, they usually have an expiration on it. They
Yeah.
got bought in 2022. It's 2025. I'm guessing that length was probably 3 years.
It could have been. It could have been. Or Nova is like, we don't want you to open source it. We're going to open source it. And then they can drag their heels and say, well, we're working on it for a long time until it expires. Or
But why
becomes unenforceable.
drag their heels? Wouldn't they want to work on that?
They don't want
knowing
it to
that
be
they
open
have like a
source.
big community of people who care.
It's probably not big enough to be monetizable is the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, those were 3 top stories that caught our eye this week, but there's more. YouTube rolled out its multi-language audio feature, letting creators dub videos in different languages. The feature was first piloted back in 2023 with some popular creators, Mr. Beast, among others. And now all creators have access to these AI auto dubbing tools. They're powered by Google's Gemini, and they mimic a creator's voice and tone. So if you thought it was me talking right now, haha, just kidding. It's YouTube AI. No, it's actually me. YouTube says early results show more than a quarter of watch time comes from non-primary languages. So you've got a lot of folks who are watching stuff and are going to get more out of it with a tool like this if it works well. The company is also experimenting with multi-language thumbnails to make content more accessible to global audiences.
Seems like a great idea to me. It really does. It's some creators, they're doing the pilot of this. They were seeing significantly more traffic on their YouTube pages because of this. So it seems like it is a good idea. There's not everybody speaks the language that you created your content in. So it makes sense that if they can translate it, that's a good thing to do. It
is on for the DTNS channel. We only have checked to manually review dubs in experimental languages. So if it's a regular language that they support, you should be able to get an auto dub.
That's exactly what I have turned on, or those are the same settings I turned on my own YouTube channel. I have like a perfect use case for this too, since I have a, Sailor Moon anime, Japanese culture YouTube channel. I don't speak fluent Japanese. I'm learning it, but I do not speak fluent. And it would be amazing to be able to switch this over to Japanese, because I know there's audience members who watch my channel in English right now who don't understand what I'm saying constantly and consistently. I'm sure they would love to see it in Japanese, because it'll help them understand like what I'm trying to say. So it's so cool.
For something like that, I think this may work well. I've run into this once about a year ago, so it's probably improved since then. But it was an interview with a Japanese TV show host with a couple other people. And when she was talking, it kind of worked, right? It's sort of I don't really know her voice that well, but it matched. But then it was the same voice for everyone else. Oh. So when the guests were talking, you couldn't tell, like, oh, it seems like it's the same voice. I'm just hearing the same thing over and over again. So I don't know. Or
it was just kind of jarring, even if you understood what was going on.
Well, yeah, because it was hard to tell, like, oh, I guess I'm seeing her, so she must be talking now, but it sounds like the other person. But sometimes the person off camera asks a question, and
and there are nuances between people that you miss. Yeah, I mean, I feel like half the time when this literally every day I do this, I'll just kind of be like Google search, hey internet, how do I do this thing? How do I fix my audio in Logic Pro? That was something I literally did today. You end up getting just, a cacophony of YouTube videos, all tutorial videos. Not that that's all YouTube is, but you get a lot of that stuff. And many of them would be lost on me because they're not in my language. So that kind of stuff I can see is like, oh, that's a slam dunk. Because it's pretty much one person being like, you want to learn how to do this thing. I'm about to tell you. Let's do it. And then you learn something as a result.
I think a lot of times I prefer captions, though. It just depends.
I was about to say I actually prefer captions because oftentimes there are certain idioms that are used that don't necessarily translate across because it isn't just translating the word, it's translating the meaning. And I find it's easier for me to see the caption and then, oh, okay, they meant that, rather than trying to hear it and then process it and then sort of reinterrogate it in my head. It's just quicker to read it. Also, if I'm trying to learn that language, I like being able to hear it and then see if my understanding lines up.
But then you could do that where you turn an English language video into the language you're trying to learn.
Yeah.
You could use it the other way.
Yeah. I'm a fan of this because I'm not, if it's not a language that I'm trying to learn, I'm not really trying to read a YouTube video, particularly if I'm like, if it's changing the sump pump or something like that. I want to actually just watch it, hear it while I've got the pieces and parts in my hand. and not have to read anything and just kind of, get the information. And I think, Tom, like I said, I don't know how these algorithms work, so I don't profess to have any inside knowledge on this, but I would imagine that it wouldn't be too terribly difficult that if you've got multiple speakers to just create different voices for them. I would imagine that that
It's
would not
possible.
be a hard thing to do.
Yeah. It's certainly something that could be done. I don't know exactly how easy it is either, but yeah, I would like them to do that too.
I'm sure there's someone out there right now being like, you guys are missing the point. Here's why this is the perfect thing. It's not about, captions or subtitles. It's about voice dubs. If you do have thoughts, feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com is where to send those to us. All right, Tom, Apple had its awe-dropping announcement on Tuesday. We followed it along, as many of you did with us live. But did your awe drop?
Yeah, we had a lot of fun streaming a watch along, but I'm not sure my awe ever dropped. I did buy a new Series 11 watch, and so I thought with a little distance between us and the announcements now, we could go around the panel and see what people think of the announcements and then talk about whether you ordered any of the new products or not. Rob, let's start with you. I know you're an Android guy, but occasionally you dabble in Apple stuff or buy it for your family. With a couple of days between the announcement and now, what did you think?
So once again, I'm not the target market for this, but from people that I trust, Terrence Gaines being one of them, he was on the show the other day. It's nothing groundbreaking, but that's really the case with phones in general lately. So it's kind of like, it's like, okay, it's a thinner phone. Now here, this is something that Terrence told me. He says he thinks that the reason that everybody's racing to make the thinnest phones possible is because they know at some point they're going to be making phones that fold in half or fold along the crease or whatever, and they're just trying to get the technology right now so that when they do come out with a foldable, it won't suck. So that actually kind of makes sense. Because I don't know, everybody's creating, everybody, Android and Google, and are creating these these thin phones, and Samsung creating these thin phones. Actually, really, everybody's creating these thin phones. Is anybody asking for them? Does somebody say, you know what, that iPhone is just so daggone thick in my pocket? I have not heard anyone say that literally in years. So
I think they're at the point where you just need to iterate in order to seem like it's fresh enough for people to it's like, hey, that's a new device, and that's something you can immediately tactily feel. Yeah, it's a smaller phone, and so it must be an upgrade. It's not unlike back in the 50s when Detroit made a lot of cars, and every year they one-upped each other by having bigger fins on the back and more chrome. And so whether or not the actual engine and the drivetrain was exactly the same as the previous model, you tweaked it just enough so it feels different.
Sarah, when they showed that thin iPhone Air, your awe dropped a little bit. I think.
said, I want it. That's what I said. It was verbatim. And I do. At the same time, I've got a 15 Pro Max. There's nothing wrong with it. Well, I actually did drop it recently, but it's since been fixed. It's all back to new. Better than it was ever. So I don't need a new phone. But I like the iPhone Air. And when people compare it to the MacBook Air, it's not really a comparison, like apples to apples comparison, but there is something to that. It's like if you want, the absolute, all the storage, all the specs, then you're going to go with that Pro or Max model. If you're looking for something that feels slimmer, lighter, just kind of, more mobile, depending on your lifestyle. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
The MacBook Air has been wildly successful for that exact reason. It took people a little bit of time to be like, well, it doesn't have a Retina display. Well, now it does. Oh, okay. This is actually a pretty good computer. Like, do I really need the Pro? So I think we're getting into that situation. But I do think, to your point, Rob, that Terrence is onto something where the idea of this like super thin iPhone, thinnest ever. It's like, were we all complaining that they weren't thin? Not really. But if they're that thin, then they can fold more easily.
Yeah,
here's the other thing
that
this part is not lost on me. So the iPhone Air gets introduced, and it is super thin. It's got that, the camera bump where they put, I guess, all the parts for the phone in that part because that's the only place where they've got space. But it's like, okay, something has to give on this. What is it? I would imagine that would be battery life to some extent. So it was interesting to me, and it was not lost on me, that right after the phone is introduced, that the battery that just MagSafes right to the back that actually fills out the rest of the phone is introduced as well. And it's like, okay, yeah. So it's like, you probably want to need this now to carry it around. So are you really saving a lot of space? Yes, you are, because most people aren't going to probably go out and buy that battery. But it was like, you've got to get something up. So you definitely are giving battery life up to get a super, super thin phone like this.
I read something that said that handbags being smaller was one of the motivating factors for Apple to make this, because a thinner phone can fit into a smaller handbag.
Well, you don't need that if you just buy the crossbody strap.
Which is also a thing now. Like, Apple wasn't the first one to do that.
No, they are very, very popular in the Asian markets. I've seen crossbody straps all over the place in Japan. They're so popular over there.
Yeah.
I also feel like, and I'm not speaking to all small handbags and purses and everybody, whatever you want to put in your purse is
not all handbags.
not all handbags. It's all a very personal decision. No judgment here. But when I first got I don't even think it was the Pro Max. It was, I think it was like the iPhone 5 where it became the largest phone for the first. I think that's right. I don't know. I might have my
iPhone
numbering
5 was
wrong.
the taller form factor. I remember that.
Yeah, like it wasn't called a Max yet, but it was called like the Plus or something. Anyway, whatever that was, I remember I got it and I was like, awesome, huh? Now I can't type with one hand anymore, and it doesn't fit in my small purses. Why did I do this? And then I just got used to it.
The reason that I never fell in love with an iPhone is because I could only type with one hand when they first came out. I was so used to using a BlackBerry. The original iPhone, it was so small that I could only hold it in one hand and use my index finger to press the buttons. And I was like, this is just not working for me. And that really is probably the main reason why I never got into iPhones. From I did buy the very first one, but yeah, it was just too small. And now we're going back to small, but the screens are small. The screen is still quite big, so it's just a very, very thin phone at this point.
Yeah, the iPhone Air is a 6.5-inch screen, I think.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's why I'm like,
big.
in a small purse, it's like you still gotta fit. You have to fit. It's slightly thinner,
still pretty
but
long.
It's not. Yeah, it's not. It's not giving you a whole lot more real estate.
That's why you need the crossbody strap. Shannon's right.
I'm gonna buy.
Nico
I'm
made
gonna buy one.
so much fun of me for the crossbody strap the other day during our live event, and I'm like, you know what? Crossbody. Some of us like them.
Your phone is the purse.
I don't know what that says about me, but I'm like, it works. It's great. You don't have to worry about shoulders. It's just attached to your body.
Explain this to me. You're saying crossbody strap. I was thinking you were talking about like the crossbody bags that are like really popular. Are you talking about an actual strap to the phone?
It's the same thing.
Right.
It's like, if you're watching on video, you'll see this. It's like one of these little straps that you can put on the bottom of your phone, but it extends so that you can put it around your shoulder. So it goes way, way, way longer. So you can just hold your phone.
Can carry it. Yeah.
You can hold your phone across your body. I actually find those extremely useful when I go to conventions because I'm often capturing content on my phone. And if I don't have to pull it out of a purse every time I want to take a photo, and it's safer if it's on a strap because it's not going to like drop out of my hand,
or
it'll just fall over to my hip.
Oh, okay.
That way I can easily capture content and then I can just drop it and it'll fall against my stomach. So that way it's safer, it's going to stick around with me all the time, and it's much easier to access for photography and capturing content.
Okay, that's actually kind of slick.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Up to an Android.
It's smart. Yeah,
they
it's
make
very
them
smart.
for Samsung phones too.
They do.
They're out there.
Okay.
And you can get lanyard ones too if you're like, oh, I don't want the whole
you can get
crossbody.
universal ones.
Yeah,
There's plenty available online if you're interested in something like that. But
Beats just came out with one for the new iPhone that can work as a kickstand when it's not being used as a strap.
Oh. I like that.
Handy.
I want to know. So one of the things that I'm going to act like I run a lot of marathons right now, which is not the case. But when I get back into it, is the crossbody thing, because what I have now is crossbody bags that I use when I'm jogging. running, with my dog or by myself or whatever. But they can be a little kind of and if you need to have, let's say you have an Apple Watch and an iPhone at the same time, or, a phone and a compatible watch, doesn't have to be anything that Apple makes. Does that end up helping out at all? Because that would be something that I'm like, even if I wasn't at a convention, your use case is very good, Shannon, but just having it on your person, but not having it in something that's ending up being more bulky is kind of fun.
Well, folks, if you are watching us live on the YouTube live stream, do us a solid and smash that like button. It does a lot to help us with the algorithm and all that kind of good stuff. And if you haven't done so already, also hit the subscribe button. We really, really, really appreciate it if you do.
All right, Shannon Morse, Europe's largest technology and consumer appliance trade show called IFA took place in Berlin last week, and you were there. What were the standout things that you saw?
I was there, yes. It was a very last minute trip for me, but I actually made it out there to Berlin. First time in Berlin. Loved it. Very cool city. So IFA stands for Innovation for All. It's actually been going on for years and years. This convention has been happening for a very long time, but since it was my first time there, I was really paying attention to and kind of comparing it to CES, since I've been going to that convention for over a decade and a half at this point. So IFA, if you look at it from like a downward perspective, it's in a bunch of different buildings, and every single one has a different kind of genre associated to it. And I saw a lot of rooms dedicated to robot vacuums and lawnmowers. There were a whole bunch of those there. We've seen a lot of those from CES and previous conventions too, but I saw a big focus on robot vacuums and lawnmowers. I even saw one where you have a vacuum that goes inside of another robot and it climbs up the stairs. So you only have to buy one vacuum for your house, one robot vacuum, and you can use it on multiple different floors without having to physically move the robot from one floor to another, which I thought was pretty cool. Dolby Vision 2 is going to be a new thing. I saw some new information about that coming out here. So this is going to be better for motion handling on televisions, and it will also have additional color fixes for whenever you're watching entertainment on your TV. And then something called content intelligence is included in Dolby Vision 2, which is supposed to tweak your TV settings based on what is the content that's currently on the screen. And it should be able to interact better with what is going on around you in terms of like how bright your room is. It should be able to intelligently increase the brightness of your television. So Dolby Vision 2 sounds pretty interesting, and I think we're going to see a bigger trend of this going into the next year and the next season. Higher end home theater projectors, that was a really big thing this year as well. Thousands and thousands of dollars for these projectors, but they look really nice. And in terms of home theater, we also saw more companies talking about mini LEDs using RGB colors as opposed to just one color and distributing it to a bunch of different colors as a additional layer on a television. So we saw RGB LED, micro LED, RGB, all the different television brands and makers, they all have different names for this kind of technology, and they're all doing it a little bit differently, but we're seeing this trend towards making mini LEDs for this back layer TVs in all sorts of different colors, which is going to mean that you're going to have better color distribution on your televisions and more accurate colors when you're watching things on your TV. And you can get smaller and bigger TVs too with this technology, which is pretty cool. AI was kind of downplayed when companies were announcing new products. They weren't talking about it as specifically as they were last year, but it's still included in practically everything. So AI is not going anywhere. It's just not the main selling point that I think a lot of brands are focusing on. And then I was able to see a whole bunch of different products. So I was really excited to share those too with you.
Saying devices come with AI is kind of like saying it comes with internet now. You just don't really need to
Yeah.
say it anymore. It's just
Yeah.
kind of, you just assume that if it's smart, there's some AI there.
This
So
phone
that's
comes with
interesting.
electricity.
Yes.
No, I think when you're in Europe, where there's a big regulatory delay on features rolling out, companies are probably less likely to want to play that up because everybody's going to get them later there.
True. Yeah, they were definitely pushing towards the European market space. So there were a lot of brands that I did not recognize for my mainly USA market space and brands. So that was pretty interesting too. I was able to be introduced to a lot of different companies. But we did see some brands out there that we're very familiar with. For example, I saw Lenovo. They introduced the new Lenovo Legion Go 2, which is their newest handheld gaming rig. This one is 8.8 inches. The display is huge. It's beautiful. It's a Ryzen Z2 Extreme inside of there. It's also an OLED at 144 hertz, 32 gigs of RAM, 2 terabytes of storage, and those controllers that you see on both sides, those are actually detachable. So you can mount up the
cool.
display and play with just the controllers separated,
I like a
which makes
Switch.
it, yes, it's very Switch similar. The big component of this is the battery has been increased, and that was one of the problems with the original Legion Go. When I reviewed it, it was a smaller battery. This one is 50% bigger, 74 watt hours, but it's also more expensive. They're saying currently the pricing is listed at $1,049, so it's going to be one of the more expensive. In fact, it might be the most expensive handheld gaming device I think that's currently on the market, but don't quote me on that. I might
Just
be
think of
incorrect.
it as half the price of an i17 Pro Max with 2 terabytes of storage.
Yeah, there you go. They also had a really, really cool concept called the ThinkBook Vertiflex, which is a 14-inch display, a 14-inch laptop, and it actually flexes. It flexes
nice.
from horizontal to vertical. So no specs really on here, but it was very thin. It was really easy to move from vertical to horizontal and back. It's a concept device, so they didn't really share a lot of interesting specs about it. But I feel like this would be really great for programmers. And I say that because I have a lot of friends who are coders, and they always have one screen that's turned vertically so that they can code on it. And then they pull everything over to their regular horizontal laptop and upload it to GitHub or wherever it might be. So that's like a very targeted, a very niche use case for this, but I think that would be a market for it if they did indeed sell it. Now, I did mention those projectors. Anker had probably my favorite projector at the show, and this was the Anker Nebula X1 Pro. This thing is huge because it's mostly speaker.
Oh,
was-
wow. Oh, yeah.
It's
Big
very big.
speakers were a
Big
thing
speaker.
at IFA, too.
Very
yeah.
big. Yeah. 7.1.4 spatial surround sound, Dolby Vision, Dolby support all the way around for the sound as well. And it's a 4K laser projector too. Now they're going to throw this thing up on Kickstarter so that you can buy the projector itself with the speakers, and those speakers are removable so you can place them wherever you want. But I feel like the marketing here is around being able to move this projector instead of just mounting it in one room. You can take this to friends' houses, or you could take this outside if you wanted to and set it up outside. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use it. They quoted me at $5,000 for the entire bundle, but the Kickstarter price
5 Legion
is
goes.
yeah,
The battery
it'll start
looked,
at $26.99.
the battery looked a little chunky to me.
It
Not
yeah.
that big batteries are, not everybody hates that, but it seems like it's not exactly a slim model.
No.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not. It's a thick boy, but I feel like it'll last quite a long time.
Some people
Hopefully,
like that.
I mean,
All devices are mostly battery, is what I'm noticing. Like batteries have taken up all the
Yes.
space in devices, from the iPhone Air that we were talking about earlier to this. Like batteries are everything now.
Because this thing runs on batteries, I guarantee that within 14 hours of it being available, somebody will buy it specifically to take it on a camping trip.
I
guarantee
hope
it.
so.
I guarantee.
I
it.
hope so. Now, because you have all those speakers, you do need to plug it in somewhere. But if you brought with you a power supply unit for your car, you could plug it in there just fine. And that would be like...
Anchor will sell you a battery you can put in your car to power the Anchor speaker. Yeah.
I think they do.
Yeah,
I think they do have one. So perfect. There you go. We also had some Samsung announcements. These were announced during IFA, but I did get a chance to see them about a week earlier. So I was able to talk about these while I was at the show floor as well. So they have the new S25 FE, which is going to be the most recent fan edition phone. So it's going to be less than your S25 Ultra, a little less expensive. This one starts at $650, $650. So this is going to be your upgrade from the A series. It's a little bit more expensive than the A series, but 6.7-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED screen, 120 hertz display. If anybody still cares about hertz and refresh rates, there you go. It's a little bit smaller than the Ultra, IP68, which I appreciated, and it comes with wireless charging and some pretty good cameras in there too, as well as a good battery. I think it was a 4,900 milliampere hour battery, and then you got a trio of cameras on the back, with the biggest one being a 50 megapixel wide. So pretty happy with that, especially for that price point at $650. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, you're trading out Qualcomm for Exynos, which is the
Yes.
big change in specs here, but otherwise it's pretty close.
They also introduced their S11 series tablets. You have your S11 as well as the S11 Ultra. These will have a MediaTek Dimensity 9400 Plus. And one of the big things for me with the Samsung tablets and why I love them so much, they have micro SD card slots, so you can get up to 2 terabytes of extra storage. And they do come with a few different options for storage internally as well, which is nice. But they also have this really cool upgraded DeX mode. DeX is not new. This is where you can plug it into a larger display and use it kind of in a desktop mode. But now the DeX upgrade will allow you to have different workspaces tied to your tablet that will give you different applications and different windows based on whatever workspaces you are currently using. So you could have one set up for like personal entertainment use and one for work mode, and you could just switch in between them, or you could go back to just using it in regular tablet mode. And all of it was very fluid. I got to see a demo and it was really cool to see. So quite an impressive upgrade. I don't know if they're going to include these DeX upgrades in previous generations of these tablets, but it is going to be included in the Ultra S11 and the S11 regular right out of the box. So you won't have to upgrade or anything.
Shannon, I'm using a S9 Plus, and I love it. It's the best tablet that I've ever owned. Do you think there's any reason that I should be looking to upgrade to an 11? Or 2 years removed, am I probably still good?
I would say if you're happy with it, and if you, especially like when it comes to the battery life and the stylus, I don't think you need to upgrade right now. I would say keep that thing as long as you've got those security upgrades going to your device, and wait until then. If you very specifically, if you want an upgraded stylus, because the new stylus is much more, it feels a lot more like using a pencil because it has an octagonal shape around the edges, and it has a little bit better of a stylus on the end of it, more of like a cone-shaped stylus at the end. If you wanted that, especially if you're like an artist, then I would say upgrade, because the new stylus is really, really nice, and it does have some new capabilities built into that use AI, actually. So if you wanted to use that, yes, upgrade. But otherwise, nah, you should be good. And the S9's only, what, 2 years old?
Yeah, 2 years old. So
yeah, keep that.
And I love it. I use it more than I use my laptop. I take it everywhere with me.
Yeah, I use mine all the time too. I have a S10 Ultra, and that thing I love it so much. I use it all the time, especially in DeX mode. These, by the way, how much are the prices? I'll have to look up the prices for you, but they also come with those big batteries and anti-reflective coating on the larger one, which is also very nice. They introduced that on the phone line, so it's nice to see this in the tablet as well.
Everything's matte
really helps
these
with
days.
those big ones.
There's no more glossy screens. Nobody wants that.
I am very happy
Roger's
about
like,
that.
excuse you, Tom.
It's great. I just a nice non-glossy finish, so it doesn't blind me when I'm looking at it.
You know, speaking of which, I actually found, okay, Roger, you might like this. There's a new matte smartphone that's coming out from TCL. It's an Android phone. It's their Nextpaper 60 Ultra, currently available in the European marketplace, available overseas. But this sports a matte paper-like display, so it's not super reflective. It supports stylus, too, so you can draw or write on it. And the neat thing about TCL's Nextpaper is there's a little switch on the side of the smartphone that allows it to change from full color, full Android experience over to a black and white e-reader type experience.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh,
It's really cool. And when you turn it to the black and white style e-reader display, this also extends the battery life up to 7 days. So if you
yeah.
and you could still use it as a
As a
smartphone.
phone.
You still have the
Oh, nice.
applications. Yeah, you can still use it just like every other one.
Is the screen textured? So, like when you use the stylus, it feels like you're writing on paper or drawing on paper.
A little bit. It's a little texture. It's not exactly like paper, but it does feel like if you've used like a matte, I would say like a screen protector on your phones, you can feel a slight bit of friction on there, a slight bit of texture. So if you use a stylus on it, it does feel more like writing on paper, but it's not as smooth as a regular reflective type of display. So yeah, there's a bit of a difference there, but it's not exactly like paper.
I mean,
I
it's
wouldn't say.
definitely like with the was it the iPad M2? They have that
Yeah.
feature where it's a textured screen, so when you're drawing on it, it
Yes.
feels more like paper, which makes it very attractive to artists
Yeah.
or other people who like that tactile feedback.
Yeah, it's nice to see it coming into more devices. I think it was at CES
agree.
we saw it on the tablet, so seeing it on a phone, really good, really cool.
So I had a lot of fun at IFA. I got lost multiple times in their crazy convention hall because it's not just one hall, it's like 20. So trying to find your way around this place was ridiculous, but it was fun.
got
Is it
some
an old
steps in,
castle
though.
or something? Like, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, basically. I felt like I was in a dungeon.
Let's all go to IFA next year. It sounds fun.
It's very fun.
Look at all the stuff that Shannon saw. Speaking of content creation, because a lot of the stuff that you mentioned just now, Shannon, would be great for creators. One of the things that some of us who do this for a living might be a little afraid of is a startup podcasting company, which does exist, created by a network of AI-generated shows, hosted by AI personalities, maintained by the company to take our jobs. What's going on, Rob?
Yeah, Sarah, there's a company called Inception Point AI. It's founded by former Wondery executive Janine Wright, whose goal is to transform the podcast industry by producing over 5,000 shows and 3,000 episodes weekly for $1 or less per episode using AI. So I'll just let that sink in with you guys. $1 or less per episode. They want to do 3,000 a week. Can you say
Get
spam?
what you pay for.
Can you say spam? The company aims to develop AI hosts into broader influencers, minimizing production costs. Since September 2023, they have accumulated 10 million downloads utilizing AI for topic selection, outlining, and episode creation, while also experimenting with short-form videos and social media for their AI personalities. Inception Point AI views AI-generated content as a new genre, not a replacement for human-hosted podcasts, and is exploring collaborations with existing creators. So I'm just stuck on the 3,000 episodes a week. Do you guys remember the I think it was called Mahalo, the content company from back in the day, where eventually it was just a content farm just putting out crap article after crap article after crap article, trying to game the Google search algorithm until I believe it was the farm the farm update that Google kind of squashed all that. But this is what this reminds me of. It's a content farm for podcast, and they're just hoping that as long as if it costs us $1 to make it, as long as we can make more than $1 on it, we're in the black. What do you guys think?
I mean, okay, so, first reaction, I'm like, no one can replace us. We're all such great humans. But knowing that this is going to happen and people are going to be experimenting with it more and more, to have, let's say I was behind an AI personality, so it was still my voice, but I don't know, the personality was not necessarily me and looked different and sounded different, that sort of thing. That's kind of the hybrid model. The model, I think what you're talking about that Wondery is, well, not Wondery, but former Janine Wright of Wondery is looking to do with this new company is, we're just, for $1 for $1 per episode, you're not paying anybody. So the AI is doing everything itself. And that's where you get the AI slop that we all have become familiar with and have to navigate through. I think most folks who want a informed and thoughtful program, whether it's ours or many of the other podcasts, let's say, that are out there, they're going to say like, yeah, well, that's not what I want. But it isn't. It probably is going to speak to some folks who are like, yeah, I just want some information. The same way that you see stuff online now all the time, where it's like, I don't think there's a human behind any of the stuff. But if you believe it or you decide to trust it, then you don't necessarily care.
I mean, at some point, it just becomes like, your mailbox flyers where you just get a lot of circulars that just clutter up your mailbox, and I automatically just take them and toss them. And so I think people will eventually just get to the point where like, skip, I know what this is. I don't want to see it or listen to it.
Well, they would have had to subscribe, where they just won't subscribe in the first place.
Or they get subscribed by something else, and where I think it's just, I mean, at some point there's only so much time people have to listen to. And it doesn't matter how many hours of something you make. If there's this person only has like maybe 10 hours a week to listen to something, they're going to be very selective about what they listen to. Just like I'm very selective about what I watch.
So I dug around in some of these podcasts. I actually listened to 2 of them. And the first thing I will say is that they are terrible. They sound like, they do sound like if you were to just go to ChatGPT or Gemini and create a prompt to say, hey, create a podcast episode that teaches me how to create podcast episodes using AI. And whatever you get from there, now read it to me and be kind of funny when you do. And that's what you get. So the thing is that if you're simply looking for information, you will get the information from these shows. They are very, very careful, because I listened probably to the start of 5 or 6 of these shows. At the very beginning of each show, they tell you that they are an AI bot and why an AI bot is so great in such a great way to give the the information to you the way that they are, because they don't forget anything and they remember everything and they don't make mistakes in that way. So that's kind of campy, but it's not good today, but it might be good tomorrow. The other thing, and this is where podcasters in general, in my opinion, should take some notes from what this company is doing. The podcast artwork is really good. It's probably AI generated, but it is very good. And the names of the shows and the titles of the shows are very good. So what their play is, they want to, when someone is searching for something, they come up in whatever search engine you're looking for, whether that be, you're using iTunes or Spotify. When you search for keywords, it just comes up. A problem that a lot of podcasters have is they have very clever names for their shows. They have very clever names for their show titles, and no one ever finds them from search. You have to already kind of know about it. This is not going to be the case with this company, because they are very, very good at naming these things so that they come up in search when you look for their keywords.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is an interesting idea, and it was one that somebody was going to do, no matter what, because it's not about how many episodes or how many shows they make. It's about how many actually catch on. And it's easy to throw stones at this and say, like, well, this is going to be slop and it's going to be bad, and probably most of them are, right? But you only need a few of them to catch, and probably not catch in that they replace what most people listen to podcasts for, which is personalities. Although I think it's interesting that they are trying to create social media personas, because they know that they might actually create Hatsune Miku or something, where people like the AI persona. But I think what their best chance of success is weather forecasts or, local road reports, just things that we as humans are not going to find it worthwhile to spend our time doing, because we can't make as much off of it as our time is worth. But a bot that costs less than $1 per episode can like crank out weather reports all day long for every zip code on the planet.
Right.
You know, and then suddenly you're like, oh, I can actually get a podcast that tells me the weather. That's great. You know, so it'll fill a lot of niches that aren't filled right now.
But wouldn't you be part of? And it's not that I disagree with your argument, Tom. But I'm thinking like, if ever at some point someone's going to have the ability to have a personal chatbot, and you can do what you do with Notebook LLM, is where you just pass through like weather information, sports information, and just sort of have a personalized thing. Why would you spend $1 for this and not just like roll your own?
You wouldn't spend $1 for it, but there'll be an ad in it. And if you are like, I don't know how to use Notebook LM, I don't want to have to go and set something up. Yeah, if you're a DIYer, sure, you don't have to do this. But most people aren't. Most people will just be like, weather report for my zip code, and then suddenly, boom, oh, there's one I can subscribe to for free. Done. That's how it works. That's how it could work anyway.
I mean, no, I definitely see that, but I'm thinking also in the way like if you just had, an AI chatbot assistant or whatever that you had, and it would be like Feedly. You just subscribe to different information that you would funnel into it.
Oh, sure, yeah. Claude or OpenAI could just put this in their service, but they haven't yet. And this is hitting people where they live. For people who aren't using those tools, which there are a lot of, suddenly here's a thing that they can use, right? It's for them, it's not about using AI. It's about having a piece of content that wasn't there before that's useful to them.
There's some first mover advantage to this company as well, because those tools don't exist yet to where you could just use AI to do it. They're not there yet. They're probably going to be in relatively short order, but these podcasts are here right now. And for like a weather report or for traffic, I think one of the things they're also playing on is that you probably don't care if it's a human telling you that you don't want to go this route because there was an accident. Or what is the weather going to be like? You literally were just looking for the information and want to get the information as quickly as effectively as you possibly can. And these mini shows probably aren't bad for that. And then also they are a for-profit company. They're not, none of the people who are involved with it are taking paychecks yet, but if they make money, they probably are going to. So here's the thing. If they can make these shows for less than $1 per episode, you really only need to get 25, 30 listens before you have made that dollar back, and anything you make beyond that is actually profit.
And the one thing that immediately struck my mind in this is like, this would be perfect for those gas station pumps that play content while you're pumping gas, but also it could be a great replacement for in-store, instead of listening to like some a compilation of 80s 90s hits. Over at CVS, they play this, like the weather report, because it's, you got a storm coming in. It's something you can listen to that's sort of applicable to everyone, as opposed to Air Supply.
Yeah, and everyone's sort of half listening anyway.
Yeah. This is not for people who already use chatbots, although some of them might still use it just out of laziness. This is for the large number of people who still don't really even know what ChatGPT is. But podcasts are very prevalent, or Spotify or something like that, where they can get this listed. I think it's there's going to be a lot of failures here, so it's going to be easy to find stuff that's bad, like Robb did, right? It's not hard, but because they can do it at scale, it's got the spam advantage, right? Of like, yeah, but we only need a few of them to succeed, and then we start making money just by putting some ads in them.
Sweet.
Right. So am I worried about what I do for a living today? No, I'm not. Not with what I heard, because I think I listened to one that was about cloning sheep. And it's the guy sounded like he lived around 8 miles from Detroit, which was kind of funny. And he's talking about all the science. So it was like, this is the voice they went with. And it was like, that was kind of cool, but that cool ended after about 35, 40 seconds. And it's like, this is really cringe to listen to. And I listened to one about, it was just called Whale. It was about a whale. And it wasn't as good as like Notebook LM. It wasn't that level of good.
Yeah.
So it's like they have a way to go.
Did you learn about whales?
I didn't listen long enough to learn anything other than whales are really big. But
you heard it here first.
But the thing is that they've already got 10 million downloads over the last few years. That is not insignificant. 2 million downloads across their entire network. So this is only going to increase. I would imagine that other folks are going to look.
I wonder how much
say,
of that
we
is
can do this as
B2B.
well.
Like it's just one service that feeds into another.
Yeah, maybe. It's that doesn't make it.
Oh no, I'm not
less,
saying,
right?
but I mean, my curiosity is where does it find its natural home?
Yeah, and I think that's what they're trying to find out by the fact that they can crank out this many episodes. Is like, let's just see what sticks. Let's try a bunch of stuff, because you will have Whale will find an audience, right? Like there's enough people on the planet that somebody's going to love Whale, and at some point you're going to have a version of that where it's like, oh, we struck a chord that we didn't know existed with this particular virtual host, and nobody cares that it's virtual. There's some virtual music groups that have devoted followings out there, you know. So yeah, I think it's interesting for them to try, and I'm going to be curious what does work out of this, because I don't think anybody really will know.
Maybe it will just get super popular because it's so bad and people listen ironically.
Right? Yeah.
You mean
it could be.
you mean like late night TV infomercials? I still watch
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So here's the other thing that I noticed. These are actual podcasts with multiple episodes, but most of the shows only had maybe 2 or 3 episodes.
Oh, they pod
So
fade.
it's just like they're just trying stuff. Here's $5.
Yeah.
Let's go see if this works. Here's $5. Let's go see if that works. And they're creating the content. But the way the podcasts work, these things are timeless. If you want to know about whales, we pretty much know a lot about whales. There's nothing you learn new today that we didn't know a year ago. So
as long as it doesn't hallucinate whales. Magical flying creatures.
That's what I'm worried about.
Well, I hope not too much, Shannon. But as we are not worried, we like to check out the mailbag because we get a lot of good feedback in the mailbag every day. Today is no exception.
Andrew, aka AB Puppy, good to see you, Andrew, wrote, DTNS team, I enjoyed the Apple announcement watch along. I thought you did an excellent job balancing letting people listen to the announcement so they could follow along with your commentary and providing your opinions on what was being announced. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate that. That was fun to do.
It was really fun. We had a fun crew, and yeah, it's always a little bit of a balance when you're watching a live stream that somebody could just watch without listening to you. But, you want to add some commentary and feel like we're all hanging out together. It was fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
We're going to do it again. Remember, you can send in your comments to feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. And of course, if you're a patron, anything that you comment on Patreon, we see and we will respond to and certainly read as well.
All right, let's get over to Len Peralta, who has been illustrating today's show. Len, I'm very excited. What have you drawn for us today?
Well, I think that Rob's going to be very excited about this because, I went with the story about what you just talked about, which is AI taking over podcasting. I'm very offended by that. I think the human element is going to be important, but this is what's might happen to Rob. It's
No.
Robot Dunewood. And here are the daily headlines.
I like how real Rob is wearing his teal. So that's how you know.
Yeah, that's how you know the real Rob.
And Robbot is just sort of like, I'm kind of like him, but not
And
quite.
real Rob is saying this can't be good for podcasting. So, and this marks an occasion. This is the first time I've ever drawn Rob for the show.
Oh, fantastic.
That's awesome.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, if you are not watching the video but you want to see this, you can go to my online store, lenperaltastore.com, where you can purchase this. Or if you are a Patreon, patreon.com/Len, back me at the DTNS level, and it is yours to have if you're a fan of Rob. So excellent. And hopefully Robot Dunewood does not really come to fruition because we love you, Rob.
Is it Robbot?
It might be Robot, yes.
Yeah.
I guess it'll be how the AI voice speaks his name. So it's
Robot.
Robot Dunewood.
Shannon Morse, it's always wonderful to have you here, and I'm just glad I was here to see you unveil the purple podcast pop filter.
Oh, yes. What do you think? I thank you so much for starting a trend, Rob. This was all you.
You got your purple, I've got my teal. But Shannon, what are you going to tell us about today? What's going on with you?
Well, since I just got back from IFA, I have a whole IFA video over at youtube.com/Shannon Morse. So you can watch that whole video on my channel. It's the newest episode on the channel, at least until tomorrow when another video drops, because I never stop working. But you can watch that, see all the tech that we did not talk about on DTNS today, and you can also watch me get lost several times because I did not cut out those portions of the video, and I recorded myself being extremely confused.
Shannon's like, I'm in a castle.
Where am I?
It was like somebody compared it to an escape room, and I was like, it's an escape room. The Messe Berlin is the escape room for
It's a mess, all right.
conventions. Whew, it was fun. Good times.
All right. We need to pick a title for this show, and you have helpfully suggested 39 of them at dtns.showbot.tv, dailytechnewsshow.showbot.tv. It's Hack to School in the UK leads the votes from Batfig 2001. We also have Kids Will Be Kids, No Shock or Awe from Apple, handbag compatible iPhone. We got some IFA ones in here too. Everything at IFA Expalooza.
That's a good one.
Yeah, a whale of a podcast from Clinton.
Yeah.
In there.
I would not.
Big
buy
84.
that.
Is that not worth your dollar?
Is that not worth your dollar?
Right now, no, it is not.
Stealth Dave wrote, "I would not buy that for $1."
Oh,
So
nice RoboCop reference there.
yeah. Sarah, what should we go with?
We went with E. Clay Thomason's artificial podcasting.
Yay! Thank you, Clay Thomason.
I mean, we're all clapping, but we're like,
Yeah.
no.
Not the greatest. Right.
No.
I mean, if I can license my likeness,
Artificial podcasting, as long as it doesn't compete with me. Yay!
or it comes in
I
after I
feared.
retire.
Yay!
Big thanks to everybody who supports us on all the different places. People watching on LinkedIn. We got people supporting us on YouTube, like Laminar Rainbow, always giving us super chats. PC Miles had given us some bits over on Twitch, as did Zoe Brings Bacon. Razin resubscribed for the 45th month. Thanks, Rocket6 for the follow. We also had people throughout the week following us, like DL Martins and Technomensch gave us some bits the other day. Geogon resubscribed at Tier 1 for the 64th month. Beatmaster80 been with us for 76 months, 61 of them at Tier 1. Nice. Big thanks to everybody who supports us in all the ways, including patreon.com/DTNS. If you're a patron, don't go anywhere, because we're just going to keep going on the Patreon version. Roger has a Zillow version of Price is Right. He's going to use Zillow to help us try to guess how much that house is worth. That's available in Patreon as a live stream or on demand, patreon.com/DTNS.
Reminder, you can watch us live every Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern. That is 2000 UTC. You can find out more at dailytechnewsshow.com/live. Be sure to keep up with Daily Tech headlines and Daily Tech News Show briefing all week, plus weekly Live With It episodes. We've been changing things up around here, and we're very happy with it. We hope you are too. New hangouts throughout the week as well, and some bonus weekend content. See you next Thursday.
This week's episode of Daily Tech News Show were brought to you by the following people. Producer and host Sarah Lane. Host Tom Merritt. Host Rob Dunewood. Producer Roger Chang. Video producer Joe Kuntz. Producer at large Anthony Lemos. Social media producer and moderator Zoe Dutterding. Our mods: Beatmaster, W. Scott S1, BioCow, Captain Kipper, Steve Guadarrama, Paul Reese, Matthew J. Stevens, aka Gadget Virtuoso, and JD Galloway. Mod and video hosting by Dan Christensen. Music provided by Martin Bell and Dan Luters. Art by Len Peralta. Acast ad support from Tatiana Matias. Patreon support from Bobby Wagner. Our guest this week was Shannon Morse. And thanks to all the patrons who make the show possible.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Well, I thought that was fun.
It was
It was
really
very
fun.
It was really fun. It's a good show.
I'm trying to. I'm,